black helicopters, government corruption, waging war on the New World Order. It's all right here on the Jon Arthur Live Radio Show. Now, live from his worldwide command post in the studios of WXEI, 95.3 FM in Crestview, Florida. Here is Jon Arthur.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jim Michaels. Hello, America. Hello, world. The Jon Arthur Live Radio Show is on the air. We are broadcasting live this evening right here in the studios of WXEI 95.3 FM, the talk of Crestview. Coming up this hour, we'll talk about the Senate now investigating into Facebook, ending the blocking of conservative content. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Ted Cruz now. Those responsible for Donald Trump's rise will bear responsibility going forward. He made his statement. I agree. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about now schools rejecting Obama's transgender decree straight into the paper shredder. We'll talk about that bit of insanity. All at the same time as third graders now have been forced to read transgendered books about boys in dresses. I'm telling you, this world has lost its mind. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about George Clooney saying Trump will never be president because America is not racist. What a moron and a massive hypocrite. We'll talk about all this, plus your calls, toll-free, 877-777-WXEI. 877-777-9934. Welcome to the Jon Arthur Live Radio Show. I saw a story on Facebook earlier today about Northwest Florida and the Okaloosa County school system pondering what to do about Barack Hussein Insane Obama's directive, this transgender decree. And it just dawned on me how insane the school systems are about to get. You know, we've always known that this world is coming to an end. We know that the end times are very, very near. But did you ever think that in our lifetime that we would see children being told, whatever you feel like, if you feel like a man, go to the men's room. If you feel like a woman, go to the women's room. You know, the insanity of that is perverted individuals now are going to take advantage of this. Horn dog young boys are going to say, well, wow, let's just say we feel like a woman and go check out the chicks in the bathroom, right? Or even at Target. Who's to say that some perverted guy, maybe a child molester, will say, you know what, I'm transgendered, let me go in and check out the little girls going to the restroom. I mean, it's just sick. This is the sickness of Barack Hussein Insane Obama, and this is the sickness of the world as we go along. So it's going to be interesting to see how, on a local level, no matter where you're listening to the show, if you're listening in California, if you're listening in the state of Florida, if you're listening in any part of America, again, this is certainly a disturbing development out of Washington, D.C. And it happened today, by the way. The Obama administration issued a decree today on transgendered bathrooms in federally funded schools, demanding officials allow so-called transgendered students to use whatever facilities they choose. I think what bothers me here is simply the fact that you have a so-called president of the United States saying to hell with Christian values, to hell with American values, and we're going to put the rights of sick individuals over that of good, godly people. And I got news for you. If you're listening tonight and you think that Donald Trump is going to trump that, you're sorely mistaken. If you think that Hillary, rotten to the core Clinton, is going to change that, you're sorely mistaken. Hillary Clinton will be as equally bad or worse than Barack Hussein Insane Obama. Donald Trump, I don't even know where to begin with that idiot. You know, the Republican Party has chosen to put a clown in place of a real nominee. And this clown is going to be the laughingstock of America if he ever becomes president. George Clooney, of course, actor George Clooney, has stated publicly that America's not stupid enough to elect a Donald Trump. Well, I would remind George Clooney that America was stupid enough to elect a Kenyan without vetting him. The Democratic Party never vetted Barack Obama and has placed for 8 long, hellish years a Kenyan Muslim in the White House. So don't give me this garbage that America is not going to be stupid enough to put somebody like Trump in there, because we've already been very, very stupid since Ronald Reagan. We had a womanizer in the White House for 8 years. Does anyone remember the name Bill Clinton? And you want him back in the White House? My God. But here we have a decree issued today by Obama stating that all the little perverted folks in the school system can do whatever they feel like now in the bathrooms. Don't be surprised when you start hearing of boys and girls having sex in the elementary schools in the bathrooms. When little boys decide, I'm going to act like I'm transgendered so I can go hook up with my girlfriend in the bathroom. Don't be surprised when little girls start getting raped in the bathrooms. This is the insanity, the idiocracy of this administration. 850-683-9934 is the local number if you'd like to be a part of the show today. 850-683-WXEI. I'm just utterly shocked. Utterly shocked. Texas's Port Grove's Superintendent Rodney Canvas told 12 News, I got news for Barack Obama. He ain't my president, and he can't tell me what to do. The letter's going straight into the paper shredder. That was the school superintendent in Texas, basically, flashing his middle finger at Barack Obama. He says, I've got 5 daughters, and I have 2,500 girls in my protection in my school system. Their moms and dads expect me to protect them, and that is what I'm going to do. Now, I don't want them bullied, but there are accommodations that can be made short of this. He went on to say he's destroying the very fiber of this country. He's not a leader. He is a failure. I agree. Texas Governor Greg Abbott weighed in on Obama's directive as well, posting a link to the announcement with a message to Twitter. I announced today that Texas is fighting this. Obama cannot rewrite the Civil Rights Act. He's not a king. You know, I've often thought that I would love to relocate to Texas. And all the signs have been pointing that I need to go west, young man. Well, Texas now joining North Carolina in its battle with the federal government over the Obama administration's interpretation of this Title IX sex discrimination law. North Carolina recently passed a law requiring public facilities to segregate bathrooms by birth gender rather than gender identity. A law that Obama said is wrong and should be overturned. I disagree. The Post notes that Obama's decree is only the latest in a long line of executive decisions that ultimately end up protracted, expensive legal battles. And again, obviously this is going to be a hot-button issue over the months to come in the public school system. I am just sickened by what this America has turned into. Obama is in the dark of night, without consulting Congress, without consulting educators, without consulting parents, deciding to issue executive orders, forcing transgendered policies on schools and on parents who clearly do not want it. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the beginning of the end of the public school system as we know it. The public school system was bad before. Now it's going to be worse. And God bless the parents who homeschool their children. God bless those who homeschool their children or send their children to private schools, Christian schools. I mean, this is just an extension of what has already been going on. I'll give you an example. Everyone's been making a big stink out of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered inclusion, but it's weird considering that there are more people with lupus in this country than there are gays and transvestites combined. There are more relevant issues in this country based upon the numbers alone. But you know what? We don't see the autoimmune disease afflicted plastered all over the media, do we? But maybe if they dabbled in cross-dressing, they might maybe get some attention. But speaking of cross-dressing, a Michigan school has been incorporating lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered awareness now into its curriculum. And this is sick. This is sick. This is not high school students. This is third graders. As in 8 or 9-year-olds. They're doing so via a book about a boy in drag in a dress. I'm not making this up, my friends. Morrismikkel and the Tangerine Dress is a children's book about a young boy who likes to wear a dress to school. He wears high heels and fingernail polish. No, this is not a story about the folks in the 1980s playing rock and roll. This is not a story about Steven Tyler. Yes, it may be a story about Boy George, but I digress. Morris finds himself isolated and ridiculed, but eventually convinces his classmates he's just a boy who happens to wear a dress the color of a tiger and his mom's hair, and they eventually accept him. Obviously, this is conditioning for your children. The story aims to encourage acceptance and discourage bullying. The book was chosen after some students kept raising questions about some people dressing differently. You know, kids ask weird questions, right? But it would be borderline retarded to bring in a new book for every occurrence of a child asking a silly question. Children are silly. Get used to it. No need to draw up an emergency inclusion seminar every time a kid pretends they're maybe like a unicorn. Here's my argument, okay? Here's my argument. Transgenders make up 0.3% of our population. It's not even 1%. It's a fraction of a fraction. So this isn't exactly a pressing issue, is it? So why is Barack Obama, this bozo in the White House, why is he proclaiming that schools must honor the wishes of the 0.3% of the population? 0.3%. It's like they want lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered issues to be way bigger than it actually is. Trust me, the world is not prepared for that many lisps. If anything, these schools are itching to make an unnecessary political statement. They probably took notes from Target. Shame on the Minnesota company pushing all of this on you and I. You know, obviously they want to seem cutting edge and progressive, but not when it comes to important things like actual education or technology. Just feelings, right? One concerned parent brought up a great point. If any of those kids weren't thinking about wearing dresses, now they are. Well, no word on whether the school asked permission from the parents before plopping this controversial book in front of the kids. You'd think so, since leftists are obsessed with consent, right? But only if they can use it to accuse someone of fake rape. Probably wasn't applicable in this case, nor is it applicable in their underage daughter seeking an abortion. But in all other cases, the leftists are totally pro-consent, right? Also, maybe look into homeschooling or private schools. Just a suggestion, like I said a few minutes ago. If you're going to teach 8-year-olds about transgenders, you know what? Then let's tell them the truth. Let's tell them the truth, my friends. That it is sick behavior. God does not make mistakes. It is an acceptable lifestyle to sickos like Barack Hussein Insane Obama, but it is blasphemy towards God. You make your choice. 850-683-WXEI. 850-683-WXEI if you'd like to get involved on today's show. I'm just, I'm flabbergasted by what I'm seeing, folks. And don't be surprised if one day the Jon Arthur live radio show is censored. I had a hell of a time posting the link today on Facebook for my radio show. For some reason, it wasn't going through. And then finally, it went through, but it was almost as if Facebook was monitoring it to make sure that, maybe it'll pass the muster, maybe it won't. Well, there's been a Senate investigation now into Facebook because Facebook now has been accused of blocking conservative content. Content about conservatism, content about Christianity, content about life issues such as abortion. And I find it interesting that, leftists and liberals are asking for, of course, acceptance. And asking for you to be very, very accepting of them. But I can tell you, those same folks are not accepting of Christianity. Those folks are not accepting of your values. It's called hypocrisy. You're supposed to accept what they want you to behave like. And you are supposed to accept what they want the world to look like. But they can't be accepting of your worldview. When you want the world to go back in time to 1950, they mock you. Remember Barack Hussein and Saint Obama making fun of conservatives, saying these folks want to take us back in time to the 1950s? And at the same time, saying we're going forward. Yeah, this kind of forward thinking is now affecting your bathroom policies for your 8-year-old children. You've got little kids now that are going to be told in school that it's okay to wear a dress. And if you feel like a woman, use the woman's bathroom, no matter what you've got down there for plumbing. Excuse my vernacular. But I'm just utterly disturbed at what I'm seeing in the school system. I'm utterly disturbed at what I'm seeing in today's government. Since when is it the government's duty to make laws about bathroom policies? Since when is it the government's duty to tell you which bathroom you should use? I'm just utterly disturbed at what we're seeing in today's society. But you know what? It fits in very, very well. It fits in very well with, of course, the end times, doesn't it? And I really foresee things getting worse. I don't foresee a Donald Trump becoming president because Donald Trump is not the real deal. If Donald Trump was a true conservative, I would be the first one to get on the bandwagon and support him. If you've listened to this radio show long enough, you know that I have been a big supporter of true conservatism. But if you're a false conservative, you're not going to have my support. If you listen to this radio show from 2000 to 2008, when we had George W. Bush as president, you heard a lot of me going off on Bush, not towing the Republican Party line, but basically exposing Bush for the evil he was doing. I'm going to tell you this one time, and one time only. If Donald Trump becomes president, get ready for Armageddon. Get ready for the New World Order. Get ready for your implantable microchips. But let me further state that if Hillary, rotten to the core Clinton, becomes president, it's more of the same. So either way, you and I lose. Either way, America is toast. You had a chance with Ted Cruz. America, you blew it. 850-683-WXCI. We're going to take a bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Jon Arthur Live.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Despite Nicolas Cage's promise to do his best to get left behind rapture answers for us, don't hold your breath. Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. If you want true Bible prophecy answers, get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. The author exposes the Latin rapture origin, the 7-year tribulation deception, true Bible revelation of Daniel's 70 weeks, the abomination of desolation, the restrainer, America in the Revelation, the image of the beast and the mark of the beast, and the truth about God's chosen people, and so much more about Bible prophecy. This book will shatter the Left Behind